What if you could grow food once and keep harvesting it for years with almost no effort? In this video, we'll explore 10 low-effort perennial food plants that keep producing harvests year after year, helping households build a self-sufficient garden and reduce grocery shopping. From reliable vegetables like asparagus and rhubarb to flavorful herbs and productive berry bushes and dwarf fruit trees, these plants prove that a smart perennial food garden can provide fresh ingredients with far less work than traditional gardening. 10 low-effort perennial food plants that continue harvesting and help households shop less. 1. Asparagus, the classic perennial vegetable that produces for decades. If you want a low-effort perennial food plant that can keep producing for decades, asparagus is one of the most reliable choices for a home garden. Once established, this hardy vegetable comes back every spring with tender spears that are nutritious, flavorful, and easy to harvest. Many gardeners appreciate asparagus because one planting can continue producing for 20 years or more. That makes it one of the most dependable long-term food crops you can grow in your backyard. Instead of replanting every season, you simply wait for the spears to appear each spring and harvest them while they're young and tender. Another reason asparagus is so popular is that it fits perfectly into a low-maintenance gardening routine. Growing it is surprisingly simple and doesn't require constant attention once the plants are established. During the first year or two, the focus is mainly on letting the plants grow strong roots. After that early patience pays off, asparagus becomes one of the easiest vegetables to manage. Each spring the plants naturally produce new spears, giving you a steady harvest without the need for frequent replanting or complicated care. For households interested in perennial food gardening, self-sufficiency, and saving money on groceries, asparagus is a smart crop to add to the garden. It provides fresh, healthy food year after year while requiring very little work compared to many annual vegetables. With the right spot, good soil, and a little patience at the beginning, asparagus can become a long-term food source that keeps your garden productive for decades. That combination of reliability, nutrition, and low maintenance is why so many gardeners consider asparagus a must-have plant. 2. Egyptian walking onions, the self-propagating onion that walks across your garden. Egyptian walking onions are one of the most fascinating perennial edible plants you can add to a self-sustaining garden. Unlike regular onions that rely on seeds, this plant grows small clusters of bulbs, called bulbils, at the top of its tall stems. As these bulbils mature, the weight causes the stem to bend toward the ground. Once the bulbils touch the soil, they naturally root and begin growing as new plants. This unusual process is why they are called walking onions. The plant slowly moves across the garden over time without any help from the gardener. Because they reproduce on their own, Egyptian walking onions are a favorite among gardeners who enjoy low-maintenance food crops. After planting them once, they can continue growing and multiplying year after year with very little effort. This makes them perfect for people interested in regenerative gardening or building a garden that requires less replanting each season. Over time, a small patch can expand into a steady supply of onions, making them a reliable addition to backyard food production. Another reason gardeners love Egyptian walking onions is their versatility in the kitchen. Nearly every part of the plant is edible. The green stalks can be used like green onions, the underground bulbs can be cooked like regular onions, and the top bulbils can be harvested and used for planting or cooking. With multiple harvest options and a plant that keeps spreading on its own, Egyptian walking onions are one of the easiest and most practical crops for anyone trying to build a productive perennial food garden. 3. Berry bushes, long-lasting fruit plants that produce every summer. Berry bushes, such as blueberries and raspberries, are some of the most rewarding perennial fruit plants you can grow in a backyard food garden. Once these bushes are well established, they produce sweet and nutritious fruit every summer, with very little effort from the gardener. This makes them a great choice for anyone who wants consistent harvests without needing to replant crops every year. A single healthy berry bush can produce bowls of fresh fruit during the season, making it a valuable addition to any home garden focused on food production. Another reason berry bushes are so popular is their ability to support a healthy garden ecosystem. When they flower, they attract bees and other beneficial pollinators that help improve the productivity of nearby plants. Their dense growth also creates structure in the garden, making them useful for edible landscaping designs. Many gardeners like placing berry bushes along fences, borders, or garden edges where they can grow for many years while still being easy to harvest. Berry bushes are also a smart choice for people interested in growing their own superfoods at home. Blueberries prefer acidic soil and thrive when given the right conditions, while raspberries grow vigorously in a wide range of climates. Because they continue producing year after year, berry bushes can reduce the need to buy fruit from the store. For households looking to grow more of their own food while building a productive and sustainable garden, these plants are a reliable long-term investment. Four. Rhubarb, the cold hardy perennial that comes back strong every spring. Rhubarb is a tough and dependable perennial vegetable that performs especially well in cooler climates. Once planted in a garden bed, this hardy plant returns every spring with strong, vigorous growth. Its thick red stalks are widely known for their use in pies, jams, and desserts, but they also represent one of the easiest harvests in a perennial garden. After the plant becomes established, it can live and produce for many years with very little maintenance. One of the reasons gardeners appreciate rhubarb is its ability to grow into a large and productive plant over time. Each season, the root system becomes stronger, allowing the plant to produce bigger leaves and more harvestable stalks. With proper care, a mature rhubarb plant can provide weeks of harvest during the growing season. Because it requires minimal attention once established, it fits perfectly into low-maintenance food gardens. Rhubarb also works well in edible landscaping because of its bold appearance. The large green leaves and thick stems create a striking visual element in garden beds while still serving a practical purpose. For families exploring self-sufficiency gardening and long-term perennial crops, rhubarb is a classic plant that rewards patience with reliable and productive harvests every year. Five. Why perennial food plants are the secret to effortless harvests. One of the biggest benefits of growing perennial food plants is how much work they save over time. Unlike annual vegetables that must be planted again every season, perennial crops return on their own once they are established. This means gardeners can spend less time starting seeds and replanting beds each year. For people with busy schedules or those who simply want a simpler approach to gardening, perennial plants can make food production much easier. Another advantage is the strong root systems these plants develop over the years. As perennial crops mature, their roots grow deeper and help improve soil structure and stability. This process supports better water retention and healthier soil life, which benefits the entire garden. Over time, perennial plants help create a more resilient ecosystem where different crops support each other naturally. Perennial food plants also tend to become more productive as they mature. Many of them produce larger harvests each year once the plant reaches full size. This means that a small investment of time and effort in the beginning can result in years of reliable harvests later. For households hoping to grow more food at home while reducing grocery costs, perennial crops are one of the smartest strategies in sustainable gardening. 6. Sorrel, the fast-growing perennial green that keeps producing fresh leaves. Sorrel is one of the most underrated perennial leafy vegetables you can grow in a home garden. This hardy plant produces tender green leaves with a light lemon-like flavor that adds a fresh taste to many dishes. Sorrel leaves can be harvested throughout the growing season and used in salads, soups, and sauces. Once the plant is established, it continues returning every year and becomes a steady source of fresh greens. One of the reasons sorrel is so appealing to gardeners is how quickly it grows. Even with minimal care, the plant produces a steady supply of leaves that can be harvested regularly. Unlike many leafy greens that struggle in cooler temperatures, sorrel actually performs well in cool weather and can tolerate partial shade. This flexibility makes it a great choice for many different garden environments. Sorrel is also ideal for gardeners interested in building resilient and low-maintenance food systems. The plant tolerates frequent harvesting without slowing down its growth, which means you can enjoy fresh leaves over a long period of time. For households exploring self-sufficient gardening and edible landscapes, sorrel is one of the easiest and most dependable perennial greens to grow. 7. Chives, the reliable perennial herb that regrows after every harvest. Chives are one of the most dependable perennial herbs you can plant in a kitchen garden. These slender green shoots grow quickly and regrow after each harvest, allowing gardeners to enjoy fresh herbs again and again throughout the growing season. Their mild onion flavor makes them a versatile ingredient that works well in soups, eggs, salads, dips, and many everyday recipes. Another benefit of growing chives is how simple they are to maintain. Once planted, the clumps continue expanding slowly each year and can be divided if needed to create new plants. Even beginner gardeners can grow chives successfully because the plant tolerates a wide range of growing conditions and requires very little attention. This makes it a perfect herb for low-effort gardening. Chives also play an important role in pollinator-friendly gardens. During spring and early summer, they produce attractive purple blossoms that draw bees and other beneficial insects. These flowers not only support pollinators, but also add color and visual interest to garden beds. For anyone building a productive perennial food garden, chives are one of the easiest and most useful herbs to grow. 8. Dwarf fruit trees, compact trees that deliver big harvests in small gardens. Dwarf fruit trees are a great solution for gardeners who want to grow fruit but have limited space. Unlike traditional orchard trees that can grow very large, dwarf varieties remain compact while still producing generous harvests. Apples, peaches, pears, and even some citrus varieties are available in dwarf forms, making it possible to grow fresh fruit in smaller yards or even large containers. One of the main advantages of dwarf fruit trees is how manageable they are. Their smaller size makes pruning, harvesting, and general maintenance much easier compared to full-size trees. Gardeners can reach most branches without large ladders, which makes caring for the tree more convenient. This manageable size also allows gardeners to grow multiple types of fruit in the same area. For households interested in producing more food at home, dwarf fruit trees can transform a small backyard into a productive garden. With proper care, these trees can provide reliable harvests for many years. They also fit well into edible landscaping designs, combining beauty with practical food production while helping reduce the need to buy fruit from a store. 9. Horseradish, the tough perennial root that thrives almost anywhere. Horseradish is a strong and dependable perennial root crop that can grow in a wide range of conditions. Once planted, its deep root system continues producing year after year with very little care. The root is well known for its bold and spicy flavor, making it a popular ingredient in sauces, condiments, and traditional dishes. One reason horseradish is such a reliable crop is its ability to tolerate difficult growing conditions. Even in soils where many other vegetables struggle, horseradish often continues growing vigorously. Because of its hardy nature, it is a good choice for gardeners who want resilient plants that can handle changing weather and soil conditions. Another advantage is how easily horseradish multiplies underground. A single root can produce multiple new plants over time, ensuring a steady supply for future harvests. For gardeners interested in building a low-maintenance and productive food garden, horseradish offers a powerful flavor and dependable long-term harvests. (10) Lovage, the forgotten perennial herb with incredible flavor and productivity. Lovage is a powerful perennial herb that many gardeners overlook, even though it is extremely productive. The flavor is often compared to celery, but with a stronger herbal taste that works well in soups, broths, and savory dishes. Once planted, lovage grows into a tall leafy plant that continues producing aromatic leaves year after year. This herb is especially valuable for gardeners who enjoy cooking with fresh ingredients. Because lovage grows back every spring and produces a large amount of foliage, a single plant can supply plenty of leaves for the kitchen. The stems and seeds can also be used in certain recipes, making the plant even more versatile. Lovage also contributes to a healthy garden ecosystem. Its tall flowers attract beneficial insects that help support pollination and natural pest control. For households exploring perennial herb gardens and sustainable backyard food production, lovage is a productive plant that can provide both flavor and long-term harvests. Conclusion: growing perennial food plants is one of the simplest ways to create a productive backyard garden that continues producing year after year. Once these plants are established, they return every season on their own, which greatly reduces the amount of planting and maintenance required. This makes them ideal for gardeners who want reliable harvests without spending large amounts of time replanting crops. Perennial plants also help build a more stable and resilient garden ecosystem. Over time, their deep roots improve soil health, while their long life cycle supports beneficial insects and pollinators. Many of these crops become more productive as they mature, meaning the harvests often increase with each passing year. For households looking to grow more of their own food, reduce grocery spending, and enjoy fresh ingredients at home, perennial crops are a smart place to start. By adding a mix of productive vegetables, herbs, berries, and fruit trees, it's possible to build a garden that keeps providing food with less effort season after season.